It's fan service time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Figma number 490 run. It's Lanze Reiter. Now, who is this pink-haired, long-legged beauty? This is a series of illustrations called Falslander, made by artist Neco. That's all I know about it. I'm going to put the link in the description, actually. It's a nice line of very cool artworks of very cute animal girls in basically a lot of leathery clad armors and just a bunch of different themes he goes through. I think they also actually announced that they're going to do a Ronin figure, but what I'm really waiting for is like Hemet Nafel, I think the name was, which is basically a little girl in like an Anubis outfit, which is, oh my god. Yeah, just go and check out the gallery, but before that, let's have a look at this figure. And don't forget, people, if you want more awesome Figma reviews like this one, subscribe to the channel. I got plenty more already recorded and plenty more coming. Let's go. You know what's important about any figure? Leaving a presence, and this is definitely what this figure does. This is one of the tallest Figmas I've ever had in my hand, like seriously. You don't really expect it, especially for like a female character like this, but she stands at about 15.5 centimeters to the top of the helmet, if you're going to the top of the head also. Almost the same. And then that means we are going over 6 inches 6 and 1. For your size comparisons, here's Jolter, and that's a great looking pair, by the way. Also wanted to get Figma Merlin into this one because he's also one of the taller Figmas, and as you can tell, she holds up. My previous review, the SH Figuarts Raditz, the Bandai Salamander's Intercessor, and Darkside. For the overall look of the figure, I think I mentioned it already, I'm getting a little bit of a Fate vibe. No, kind of like a Fate prototype character where she has parts of the armor, but is not fully synchronized or whatever, just coming up with ideas that has nothing to do with the figure. And the other thing I kind of call it is Metal Gear for weeps, because it has also like the kind of like the leather suit. I'm calling it leather suit. I don't know it's supposed to be like that. But kind of like the tactical suit under there is has a little bit of a Metal Gear vibe. Now, overall look in detail for the figure. Damn, this face sculpt. This face sculpt is an absolute doll, and I just move the head up. Look at these eyes, look at how much detail is in there. It's lovely. It has its own personal style, and that's really what makes it unique. All the armor parts do have a nice metallic paint job, which really make them stand out from the rest of the figure, which comes in a lot more of a matte black for the entire outfit. And even like the harness, well, the belts that are going around, I'm just calling it a harness, are also just in straight up gray, which is the first issue I had to encounter, because there's all kinds of very, very small belt buckles in the outfit, especially like also in the arms and whatnot. It's molded on, but it's not painted. And yes, should be painted. Once again, I went back to the original artwork and all the small buckles and whatnot, it's painted. So, well, you might be saying, well, it's a small detail, but still, if we're paying top dollar for these Figmas, so I might as well expect that to be on there. Now, fortunately, that's the only problem I have really with the paint, because everything else looks nice and clean with some small issues, a little bit of here with this yellow and black cables that have a little bit of bleeding, and this gray line which isn't completely covering the side of the butt. I just want to go back to the armor real quick. You have like a little bit of a backpack which has a cable also hanging out, or a strap, which is even articulated, and boy oh boy, wait for the articulation, they really knocked it out of the park with that one. But also fan service. You have a butt, you've been staring at it for the last couple of minutes, and she also has some very nice tatas, which are fairly sharp. Yes, demonetized, right there. Going down to the thighs and the long legs. I mean, this really ratio torso to legs is like, boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's why she's so tall. She has a fairly long torso. Also curves all over the place, and the legs are just stunning. You have some more, I really just want to call it saber armor on one leg. The other one is completely free. And also some high heels, some metal high heels, just to stomp on your opponents. But let's have a look at the beautiful articulation. So the head does have the ball hinge in there, you can see it, and does move back and forth, but you also have this part of the armor connected to its own neck joint, so you can bring that a little bit side to side, and you have a little bit of wiggle motion, and it does move out of the way. Also, despite the hair, it still goes back a little bit, and it does tilt side to side, and it does, well, it would go all the way around, but you don't really want to do it because it's going to be problematic with the neck part. Now, one thing about the shoulder which is pretty scary, this piece, from what I can tell, is connected to the neck part with a tiny ball joint. It has some wiggle motion, and I kind of barely want to touch it because I don't want to move it around too much. I am afraid it might break off. Anyway, you have shoulder articulation, which is on a big hinge. You can bring that up and down, and you can bring it all the way around because you have another ball connected to it in the chest area. Now, what's really interesting about these shoulders is, well, you have a ball hinge in there, yes, but also this ball hinge is connected, from what I can tell, to another ball up here, and you have a pack in there, so you can rotate that around and also bring it up and down on the hinge. What's even better is they left a lot of space in the shoulder pad, so you can bring that around and you can also wiggle it back and forth to line it up completely as you want it to. Now, this piece in the front is also floaty. It is not connected anywhere, so you can bring the hand back and forth on the regular ball hinge and also all the way around without any hitch. Now, for the torso, there's a lot going on. First and foremost, the head pops off. That was not part of the demonstration, but you have the chest area. You can bring that back and forth on its own. Does not really tilt side to side, but it does rotate almost all the way. Be careful with these side panels over here because they are not soft plastic and they are not articulated, so don't break those off. Then you have another articulation point down here. It goes back and forth, pretty nimble side to side, and does go all the way around. And obviously you also have the leg part, but I just want to combine these two to see how much it goes forward. This is how much back it goes. Amazing stuff. And then it just have a little bit too much of a tuck, but it is just ball joints, and the chest area is floaty, just covering it up. For the legs, you can pull this entire piece down, the entire crotch area, I guess, and then it goes forward, moves out to the side, and it does go to the back as much as the butt lets it. But even if you tuck it back in, it still has some decent range of motion. Obviously also rotates on the thigh, and then you have a simple ball hinge in the knee, and for the foot, and also just have a ball hinge. Nothing really special in the leg area, but you don't really need it for like what they did with the upper part. Also tilts a little bit side to side, but not really. The ball joint is kind of problematic, doesn't stay in place because it just rotates all the way around. For your accessories, she comes with a lot of unique stuff. What's not really unique are the hands, but they do have the same kind of nice metallic look on it. Look at how shiny they are, wow. So you got a couple of holding hands, a little bit more angled, open posing hands, and then like more classic holding hands. Well, this is more like for the kunai, I'm guessing. But anyway, she does have a kunai. I could just call it a kunai, might just be a small knife. Has the same shiny kind of gunmetal look to it. And then you just have the, what's it called, the hilt? Is it called the hilt? Just the handle of the kunai. Why do you just have a handle? Because we have two complete different sets of legs. Why is that for? Well, if you want to have both legs armored, or if you want to have both legs unarmored. This armored piece also has the hilt for the kunai. No, this is the hilt. Is this a hilt? Somebody help me with this. English is not my first language, so I don't know what to call it. It's also on a ball, so you can rotate that around. It has some articulation, but for the rest of the legs, same stuff, just a ball joint, which you can actually also rotate in this one. It is rotated in a weird direction, so that's added articulation. I didn't even see that, but I wouldn't recommend just spinning your joints like that because it might break off. But anyway, there's that part. It also looks amazing with the detail on there. Look at that stuff. Then you also have faces. We love faces. One a little bit more angry and a little bit more happy, but honestly, it's just like it barely changes. She's not the most expressionate character, but that's fine. Then you have two more hairstyles. If you don't want to have the armor, and if you want to have the armor completely covering her face. There's also the different neck piece, which you can use to switch out her regular neck piece so she doesn't have the plate of armor in front of her face. You have a lot of options really to display her. And finally, she's called Lanze Reiter, so of course you gotta have a lance, because that's what that means. It basically then means Lanze Reiter, if you're wondering, in German, because for whatever reason, Japanese people like to use German words. But anyway, it looks fantastic. The weaponry is awesome. You just block the hand around there. Can take it apart. That's always like the Figma, so you don't have to stretch your hands. But just plug these two pieces apart, together actually, and yeah, there you go. You have your lance. Which, by the way, let me see real quick how big this thing is, how long this thing is. Doesn't really stand, but goes up to 20, almost 22.5 centimeters, and that would be for your inches. This is going up real quick. 9, well 8.9, so that's big. And finally you have the Figma back and the Figma base included with every Figma ever. Final thoughts for this Lanze Reiter. Oh my god, so I've been splooging over the design for the last, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but yeah, I like the design. The mold is perfect. I have zero problems with the mold. It looks so nice, it looks so clean. The articulation, Figma went above and beyond to deliver good articulation, because they were like, hey, we have a bigger figure, we have a little bit more time to play around with, I guess, and they made something special, they made something different. The only issue, two issues I have with it, is the belt buckles. Why didn't you paint the belt buckles? Come on, dude. I know it's a small detail, but I would have elevated the mold even that much more. The other thing is, like, the more I played around with the figure, I had the neck, the entire head with the neck pop off, because the neck connection is really just packed into the shoulders. As such, it is not the tightest and does tend to pop off. Doesn't break off, you don't have to be afraid of that, but it does tend to pop off if you're just trying to move around, and if you want to play around with it, probably not the best idea. So, I mean, you can just reconnect it, but it's probably going to get annoying after a while. And also, there's like so much stuff that comes with this figure. I like the idea of just switching out all the armor parts, have it with armor or without armor, and just a little armor and this and that. It's kind of disturbing, but I almost want to buy a second one. And I might even do it just to display it completely without the armor. I would love to do that. So, guys, I really like this one. So I'm going to recommend it 100%. It's so unique for the Figma style. Like, a lot of Figmas, I say a lot of the same things of like, this and that, articulation same, yada yada yada. But this one is different, and I like it. It's really good. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Lanze Reiter, and I cannot wait for future releases. That's probably going to be a long review because I had a lot to talk about, but that's fun, that's good, that means it's an interesting figure. I love it. So that's going to do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Lanze Reiter wants. Paint your goddamn belt buckles!